had a seller. Yes,
Sorry.
that's okay. Had a seller's coverage on it, and their AC, God bless it, it was in July. Their AC literally conked during, and we were 60 days in already. So it was, and it did get repaired because it wasn't because of lack of maintenance. It just,
I've had
Okay.
repaired on it and a replacement too. So it does work. Again, home warranties, there are limitations and stuff like that, but the failure on the compressor wasn't a leak. It was something that was mechanical that
right.
Nice.
so does work. It's just, and remembering that it's to offset out-of-pocket expenses. Home warranty is not an emergency service, and you do have to follow the process to utilize the benefits of it. So
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Sharp. Appreciate that. I think there was a request for you to put your information in again because somebody popped on after you posted it. So if you'll drop your contact in, and for whatever reason, it's not letting me go up in the chat to get it.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thanks. Perfect. Okay, you guys. Well, it is Monday. I have a couple of little quick announcements. One is Rise is coming up, One Real Rise, which is our conference in San Diego. That's the end of this month. Actually, it feels like tomorrow, but I'm sure it's a week or so away. Kind of hoping it's 2 weeks away. So I think there are still, oh gosh, not companion passes. I can't remember what they call them. Social passes. There's still social passes available. And I think there's still some people who have, I love her, Jaylene. She's awesome. I
am so sorry. Would you go? She's on
awesome.
fall break.
Yeah, fall break. I have a house full of fall break myself. Yes, everybody's watching Survivor reruns right now so that they can stay occupied and play games. So we'll get there later. But anyway, there are social passes still available. I think there are random people with random tickets that are still available. I got a call from an agent here who has 2. So they were going to post it out in Workplace. So if you haven't purchased your ticket and want to go, this is looking like a pretty stinking exciting event. So I'm trying to figure out if we can all get together down there. I'm trying to figure out who all from Arizona is going to be there. So anyway, if you want to go, you should hop in to Workplace. You can go into, what do you call it? Break room and check out posts there, or you can look in the actual One Real page for tickets. So anyway, and agenda, I think, is also in there. And then Lions and Legends, no, in the Council of Lions, we are closing registration this week. We've extended it a week. I've had a few people ask, hey, can you just give me just a couple more days? So I'm going to extend it through this week, I think through Thursday, because that's when I have my accountability meeting. So I can push it until then. So if you or anybody that you know has an interest in attending, let me know. It's all over my social media, so I'm sure you can find it there also, but you can just send me a text and I'll send you the registration link. It's filling up, so that the first one is filling up. So it's pretty exciting. Not certain that we will get to a second one. And so if you are waiting for that part, you might not want to wait for that because I'm not certain we're going to go. I have a short waiting list for that one. And so we'll kind of see how that goes. But anyway, super excited. A lot of good things are happening. We are right on schedule. This is you don't have to take a bunch of medicine and you don't have to take shots or anything to go. We're not going deep into the bush. So you will be safe. Your health is good. You do have to get a medical clearance from your doctor, however. So just to make sure that you're good to go. All right. I think those are all my big fat announcements. Thank you for those of you who attended FATE. It was a great event. We had a good day with some really fantastic speakers. So this one's going to be hard to beat, I'm afraid. So I just have to up my game a little more for the next one. We'll do the next one in January. I'm looking at the second week of January, somewhere in there already. So yeah, so be thinking about that. It'll be a good way to kick off the year. We are going to roll right into Reagan Nickelson right now. He is a performance life coach and has just recently launched something called A Radiant Mind. And it's a new series. I'll let you talk more about it, obviously, but it is something to pay attention to, especially when we're talking about how this our whole economy, the world is different, right? We're praying for Israel certainly this morning, and we're seeing the world change, and these things have an impact on us and our frame of mind and how we do our business, how we interact with other people. And Reagan, as a mindset performance coach, this is in his wheelhouse. And so I asked him to come today so he could talk to us a little bit about how we present our own thoughts to ourselves and how we're playing to win versus playing not to lose. That's two different games. And so I've asked him to come share. He's willingly and kindly agreed to do that. So Reagan, this is my great friend Reagan, you guys. Take it away, my friend. Uh-oh. Is it just me? Wait a minute, Riggs. Reagan, something bad's happening. Did everybody else get the warbled part also?
Yeah. Can't
Okay.
hear him. He's
It's
garbled.
not my internet before I start pointing fingers. No, but I can read your lips. If you talk really slow, I'll interpret for you. We could hear you in volume before, but you were garbled. No problem. Okay, so while you figure that out for a second, I'm going to go back to Rise. Who all is going? I saw that Scott and Jaylene are going. Karen's going. Anybody else going? Okay, you guys, come on. These are good
Kimberly,
events.
can you hear me now?
Yay, Reagan!
Yay.
So much better.
Okay, my external mic's not working. I don't know what's going on, so I had to flip back over to my my desktop. Can y'all hear me okay though?
Yep, it's perfect.
Okay, awesome. That was my external mic. I'm not sure what's going on. So yeah, so Kimberly, thank you for that intro. It's such an honor to be here. I love being here. I love helping Kimberly out any way I can. And as Kimberly said, I'm a mindset performance coach with Rethink Coaching. I'm a founding partner and coach with Rethink. And I did just launch a collaboration called Your Radiant Mind, A Journey to Becoming You. And this program is all about thought work and mindset. Less on the business side, but as we know, it's all connected. You can't exclude it. So we could talk about just straight up mindset, and you can plug it into your relationships, your career, your finances, your health, your fitness, all areas. So I'm excited about that program. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about whether you're playing to win or you're playing not to lose. And that kind of becomes kind of a little mind game with your head, right? What's the difference? And this particular conversation today, I do want to plug into your business. Now, you could also plug it into a relationship. You could also plug this into a lot of different categories in your life. So whatever works best for you, I'm going to talk about it through the lens of business today, through the lens of real estate business. As you guys know, I have a long connection with the real estate industry. I'm a licensed agent. And so let's talk about that. Can you hear me okay, Kimberly? Are we good to keep going?
Yep, we're great. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I am going to share my screen. I know it's Kimberly's favorite thing to have a slide up. However, maybe Susan can help me put my little head forward.
We know how to do that.
I know, but like I sometimes I forget.
Share and then advance.
Okay, but where do I get the advance?
You can't do it share from the bottom. You have to share from the top menu.
Well,
If you roll up, you're fine. You can do it this way. I won't be cranky.
Okay. Don't be cranky,
Perfect.
Kimberly. It's Monday. We're happy.
It's Monday.
Okay,
You
guys,
can't be
can everyone
cranky.
see this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I want to do an overview. There's 4 quadrants to this model that I want you to think about. And guys, why this is so powerful, identify where you are in this 4 quadrant, right? And I love this because I will revisit this and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not playing the way I want to play. So I want you to think about this. There's 4 ways that we're playing. We're playing win and we're winning. We're playing win, not winning. We're playing lose, not lose, or we're playing lose, lose. So guys, we're going to go back to the top here and start discussing this. So if we're playing to win and we're actually winning, that's a reality where we're setting intentions for our outcomes. We have a belief that we can get there. We achieve them. We're winning at a very high level. So if your outcome is to close X amount of deals, make X amount of money, you're doing it. There's proof in the numbers, right? You have that feeling of joy that things are unfolding for you. The reality is here, if you're winning, you're getting the results that you intended. Does everyone understand that? This is where it gets tricky. This one's pretty clear, right? If we set an intention and we set a goal and we actually achieve it, we see the money go into the bank account. We see the success that we set forth. You know you're winning. You're winning, you're playing to win, and you're winning. That's amazing. A lot of us in the lens of real estate were there, say, 8 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, right? Is everyone starting to identify? Could have absolutely identified that you were winning. Now let's jump down here. This is where it gets a little tricky, guys. When you're playing to win, but you're not actually winning. This is what's so interesting. And this is where our mind starts playing with us. When you're not achieving the desired outcomes. Kimberly hit on this brilliantly this morning, and thank you for that, the connection here, Kimberly. We got to think outside the box. What we did 12 months ago and what we do today look very different for us to get that outcome and that result, right? So if you're playing to win and you're not winning, let me tell you what this looks like. You're setting goals and you're setting outcomes and you're not getting them. But here's the tricky part. You're doing the work. You're getting busy. You're doing all the little things, but it may not be the same amount of things that you need to do going back 12 months ago when you were winning, right? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
That means instead of, thank you, Susan. That means instead of one open house, here's the thing, guys. There was a day when Tony and I did 2 open houses a weekend. There's times when we did 4. We would do a morning Saturday, an afternoon Saturday, a morning Sunday, and an afternoon Sunday. Now, you want to talk about eat up your weekend. However, that's what it took back in 08. That's what it took back in 09. That's what I'm talking about, guys. It was an unusual market, just like we're in now. I'm not comparing the two. They're just different markets, right? That we were in 2020 and 21. So to get the same win-win, we got to do things differently. To Kim's point, we got to think outside the box. This is not what complacency looks like, to quote a good friend of mine, right? Complacency looks like winning, not winning. It looks like you're doing some work. You're calling 20 people a day. You're having 20 conversations. You do an open house now and again. It's just not enough. So you're going to be winning, not winning. So that looks like your beliefs change around things. You allow doubt in, right? You're like, oh, this is working, but you really know in the gut it's not. Does that make sense to everyone? I want to pause here and make sure. And Kimberly, I know you know this model. Anything you want to add to this, please do, because I love the different perspective. Does this make sense to everyone? And who can start to identify where you are as we start going through these quadrants? Yeah,
I think it's super helpful. One of the things that I remember the last big market shift, I remember sitting across from, I don't remember, there were like 4 or 5 people in the room, and we were talking about, budgeting and how, like, if I take this to like a practical place? Where do we go? How can we still win? And what was working wasn't necessarily yielding enough. So a lot of us, that's when we turned up the heat on our actual marketing. We increased our marketing budgets. We cut other things, but increased our marketing budget. So I'm just thinking of like, when we talk about like, you have to do more, right? You used to do 1 open house a weekend, then you do 2, sometimes you do 4 or whatever. Like
Right.
sometimes it's just about turning up the heat. It's not that if you're looking at the win, but not winning part, which I think a lot of people are probably, I don't know, feeling that one just because they're getting some slow wins. They're not getting the consistent wins, right? And so it's more spotty. But that's a sector that makes me think about, okay, if I had good marketing and it was yielding things before and now it's not yielding, I should look at the marketing message for sure. But I should also consider turning up the heat, because it might just be a volume issue, not necessarily I'm not doing the right things. And so if we're looking at the practicalness of our business, you know, if you're doing 1 open house a weekend, maybe you do need to do 3 a week or 4 a week. Maybe you're not cramming them all in the weekend. Maybe you find a different day. Maybe you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like whatever. But I think in that sector, I think where most of us came from, we were in that win and winning spot in the most recent market cycle. Now we're in this win, not winning. And we're like, wait, I didn't really change what I was doing. Something else external changed. And so I think you have to start looking, okay, if what I was doing was working, maybe I just need more.
Totally, Kimberly. And to that point, I'm going to piggyback. During the win, not winning phase, and I'm with you, Kimberly. I think a lot of agents that I'm seeing nationwide are in this category. You start questioning your ability. You start questioning what you're doing isn't right. And to Kim's point, it's right. You just got to pull up amplify, turn up the volume. So,
well, and Reagan, don't you think that takes you from the win, not winning to the lose sector? Because you get that mindset shift of what I'm doing isn't working. I don't know what to do. And we come to this complete halt. And now we've moved, and maybe you were going there, but I'm like, this is what happens when we move from one side, the left side, to the right side, right? If I were going to look at this like my brain, one half of my brain is in the happy spot and one half of my brain isn't. Right. And if I'm not on the left side, I'm making my way to the right side.
Right. No. Kimberly, that's exactly where this goes. When you stay in the win, not winning, you can only stay there for a little bit, guys. A lot of people ask me, well, what's wrong with the win, not win? Like, it's okay. I'm getting, like Kim said, I'm getting some small wins. But at the end of the day, it actually fails on you. You actually, without effort, go into the lose, or lose not losing. And we don't want to go there. Guys, before we hop up there, I want to stay in the win, not winning. You start avoiding feedback. You start resisting change, because, guys, this is where we pivot. In the win, not winning, this is where we get to choose to pivot. Let's do something differently. Let's amp up the volume. Let's do another open house. Let's do what no other agent's willing to do. Maybe that means let's amp up social media. A lot of us resist that, right? So this is where we want to not avoid the feedback that's right in front of us. That's what's really funny about this as humans and agents, is oftentimes we just put blinders on. We resist change, and we don't want the feedback. Because what happens when you stay too long in the win, not winning, you don't stay there long, because you go up into the lose, not losing. And guys, what this looks like, this is gradual and suddenly, right? Have you ever heard that term? You feel like it happened all of a sudden. It really didn't. It gradually and suddenly happens, because you slide out of the win, not winning, and you go into the lose, not losing. This is where you go into protection mode. I'm just going to hunker down. I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I'm not going to take any risk. And in this market, what could that look like, guys? Maybe we're going to ditch education. We're going to ditch going to a training, because that costs money. So the way we're going to protect ourselves is the money's not coming in, so we're not going to spend any money. That can be a good strategy, right? We want to make sure that we're balanced, right? That we're not having so much cash going out. But what I'm talking about here is the extreme. We just shut down. You become stagnant. You become withdrawn. You just become in protection mode. I'm just gonna, because you know the market's gonna get better. And when the market gets better, I'll do more. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna hang loose, right? You start contracting instead of expanding. Do you see how dangerous this place is, right? Do you see how this is the slippery slope, right? We're sliding down now. Lose, not lose. Can everyone identify, maybe not identify, but can you see the danger of this zone, of this quadrant?
I feel like this is the one that leads to extinction.
Oh, for sure, Kimberly. Yeah, this is
When you make that
literally,
shift,
guys,
like,
the
uh-oh.
slippery slope. You do not want that momentum, right?
Yeah.
Can you move your screen up just a tad so I can read all 4 quadrants?
Yeah, let me, oh, yeah. That would be helpful,
That's
wouldn't it?
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we're in the lose, not lose right now, guys. This is where we minimize risk. We take away our own power. We really contract, guys. This is a really dangerous place to be. Some of you may be in this category where you've just slid out of win, not winning, right? And you want to talk about deflating, because we went from winning, slid into win, not winning, which feels different, but not terrible often. But then now we're in lose, not lose. We're in protection mode. Trust me, guys, it is hard to see past your blinders in this quadrant. This is where I want you to be fully aware, because then the next most dangerous. Kimberly, you want to add anything before we slide into the lose, not lose, or lose, losing? I think Kimberly's, is she froze? Okay. So
Sorry,
guys,
no, I'm not frozen.
any questions on lose, not lose? You know, one other thing, guys, this is where we get defensive. This is where we start saying words like, I know that. I know that. Guys, those are the most dangerous words that can ever come out of your mouth. When someone gives you feedback over here, get it? Remember this, you avoid feedback. We start shutting down and you start saying, oh, I know that. I'm good. Thank you. That's when you know you may have slid into lose, not lose, into that protective mode. Instead of being expansive, you're contracting. All right. So the next quadrant is playing not to lose, and you're losing. This is, to Kimberly's word, instinct. You become a dinosaur. You become instinct. What's the word?
Extinct. I know. Your instinct is to say extinct. There you go.
Yes. So this is where you become irrelevant, guys. You start identifying as, this is terrible, but your mind starts telling you you can't do this. You're not a winner. You're a loser. You start trying to protect your position instead of getting ahead. But sadly enough, this is when you slide down the slope completely into the toxic pool. You're done. We don't want to ever get into that lose-lose. And I don't know that many of you are likely in this quadrant. Now, sometimes our minds will take us there, right? Hey, do I really got this? Am I good enough? Am I talented enough? Can I do the social media enough? Can I do this? Can I do that? But that's just your head playing tricks on you. So this is where I want you to really think about where mindset is so important, and how we talk to ourselves is most important, because like energy attracts like energy, guys. This is where we want to be in the room. This is why coming to these meetings that Kimberly runs with Lions and Legends, proximity matters. The room you're in matters, because energy attracts like energy. So we never want to be in the lose-lose, because that like energy, if it's losing energy, you're going to attract more of it. You're going to be like, oh, this, I have bad luck. This always happens to me. There's no houses for sale. It's a bad market. No one's going to buy a house at 7% interest. So I think I'll just hang out until, the feds take it down to 2. Yeah, we ain't going back down to 2. That's just my personal opinion. However, can you see that this is a dangerous place to be? Because we start telling ourselves stories. No one's selling houses. How many people have heard agents say that? No one's selling houses. And you know what I say to those agents? Go pull up your MLS right now. I want to see how many houses sold in your market right now. And I love doing this with clients. If I have a client that says something like this, I make them pull up their MLS right in front of me. We look at the houses sold and it's like, oh, interesting. X amount of houses sold. They just didn't sell with you. Now that's an oucher, right? I mean, that's a zinger. And I do that by intention because I want people to realize there are houses selling. There are people making moves in this market. And so this is where mindset plays in, guys. Can you see this is all a mindset game? We call it these quadrants. However, this is all mindset. What do you choose to be? So I want you to decide today, guys. Can everyone, let's get a raise of hands real quick. Can everyone see where they are in these 4 quadrants? Can everyone identify at least with a quadrant? Great, thank you. Yes, I see some hands rising. Yeah, me too. And guys, here's the thing. I, on a weekly basis, identify where I am because our mindset fluctuates. You know how you ever had a big high and you're like, I got this, rah, rah, rah. And then the motivation wanes. This is where mindset kicks in. And sometimes we dip down and I'll think, today, I like to do it daily. I'm like, today, was I playing to win or was I playing not to lose? Guys, how many of you can identify with that statement? Have you had a day where you just played not to lose? You know what that looks like? You didn't make your calls, or you made some, but you didn't make all the ones that you needed to. You maybe didn't schedule that open house. You didn't go to that networking event because, well, you might have to actually get dressed and leave the house. Right? We're just in a different world. We got to do things differently than we've done in the past, especially in like the pandemic past and then the past that we're coming out of. I'm seeing this, and Kimberly, love your input. I'm seeing a lot of agents that are struggling just getting back out into what I'm going to call the real world in the sense of like in person. I mean, I think I miss this sometimes because I see some of the same people at the same live events I'm going to, but I know that there's people that are resisting it. And so I want you to identify like where your comfort zone is and stepping out of that. Just stepping beyond that and take little baby steps, guys. I'm not asking you to leave your comfort zone here and go way over here because all your goals usually are just on the outside of your comfort zone circle, just right here. Like all you got to do is just put your toe across it. Just take a little step. Just get a little uncomfortable. And that makes all the difference. That can take you out of playing to win, not winning, straight up into winning. It takes so little. And yet our minds tell us, oh, I'd have to do like 100 calls a day and do an open house like probably 5 times a day. And then, go put a sign up outside and hold it up. It doesn't necessarily.
Hey, Reagan,
It doesn't work though. Yeah.
what would you recommend if, say, you're always uncomfortable?
So expand on that for me, Cindy. Like, what does that mean for you?
Actually, I'm asking because my daughter is sitting in on this because
Oh, cool.
when you coach, I swear you're not just real estate. You're amazing. And when you started talking about the whole you're welcome. When you started talking about the whole mindset and the winning, and like, for instance, playing not to lose. I lived there in 2023, 22. Good Lord, I can't.
What year is it, right?
So I lived there for a year. And when you started talking, I was like, guys, come in and sit in on this. It's amazing because it applies to life. It's not just real estate, it's life.
No, Cindy, you're right. It is. And that's what I said at the top of the call. You can plug this into anything. Somebody can listen to this call. Just take out the real estate piece.
Right.
Plug in how you're living your life, how you're going to school, how you're functioning in your relationship. So no, that's a great awareness. And to your question, what was the question again? What if you're always uncomfortable?
In a work setting, trying to get yourself out there, like with marketing and communicating with people and trying to find the correct people to get your business out there more. How would you go about it when you're always uncomfortable. Like there's not one area of doing that makes you feel comfortable.
Okay. So I would encourage you, I would invite you to find the avenue that's least uncomfortable. Could you do that? Can you like mentally say, okay, this one's the least uncomfortable, could still be uncomfortable, but it's just the least.
So I have done that, but I feel like in the setting I am in with my business, I feel like it's not enough and I need more.
So
Okay.
she is self-employed. She is a ranch care. She provides ranch care services, but she is self-employed. So she has to get clients just like we do.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, and here's the deal. I always say it's widgets, gadgets, or gadgets. It could be real estate and it could be selling anything in between. It's really all the same. We're all in sales. And I always laugh when people say, oh, I don't do sales. I'm like, honey, everyone does sales. I don't care whether you're selling real estate or selling your service or you're managing a ranch. You're in sales of some kind. So here's what I would suggest. How we get out of the uncomfortable feeling is to literally put ourselves in the uncomfortable feeling, right? So I would invite you to take baby steps. Now, guys, this is what if this is your comfort zone, I'm not asking you to go way over here. I'm not asking you to do a double back dive off of a high cliff when you don't even want to get in the pool. What I'm asking you to do is to go to the edge of the pool and just sit down and put your feet in and kind of splash around the water and just get a feel for it. It's safe. You're not going to go in, that's what I'm talking about. There's really not a magic wand for poof, you don't feel uncomfortable. The way we get comfortable is to actually make ourselves uncomfortable, but do it incrementally. Don't do it shockingly. Just like, how about this? What is one thing you could do today that feels uncomfortable, but totally doable, that when you do it, you'll be one step closer to your goal, one step closer to that success?
More videos.
I was gonna say social media.
You know what's really funny is I'm in marketing. I don't sell real estate, but I work and I'm doing the same thing, trying to gain business. And a lot of people wouldn't know this, but they think that I am super extroverted. I'm not. I'm not extroverted. I'm actually introverted with extroverted tendencies, but because my job requires me to do the same thing of getting out there, being uncomfortable, showing up to places that nobody knows me, they don't care about me. I'm just a vendor. Like, it's uncomfortable. And I can't be a wallflower because I also know it's my business and my livelihood. So I do have to sit and marinate in that uncomfortable until it gets more comfortable and a little bit more comfortable and then a little bit more comfortable. But even as tenured as I am in this business, I'll still end up showing up places that people don't know who I am. And I hate that. And I still have to be like, hi, I'm Sharp. I'm in home warranty. Oh, yay. Like nobody cares until you get in and they get to know who you are, right? You have to be you.
Sure. Can I ask you a question? Can I use you as an example?
Sure.
So that
Because
example,
she's so extroverted, she'll love it.
I know, but you know what's interesting is a lot of us, like Kimberly knows this about me. There's not a lot about me that's introverted. However, we all have those uncomfortable moments. So think about this. You say, I go into a room that I don't know anyone. What is the first thing you do that makes you instantly feel more comfortable, or you could do that would make you feel instantly more comfortable in that situation?
Have a drink.
Well, that could do. But what if you did this? What if you went up to one person and said, hi, I'm Sharp. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes. When you find somebody that you can connect with.
Just break the ice. Correct. Yeah. Just say hello. But what we call that, Sharp, is taking action. And that's what I was saying earlier to Cindy and her crew is take action. Take one step. And guys, incremental. I'm talking like a little baby. If all you can do is put a toe in, do it. Put the toe in until you're like, oh, I'm breathing. I got this. And then tomorrow you might want to put your whole foot in.
I think
that's okay.
Reagan,
yeah.
When you talk about this, I'm listening to you and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, if I go backwards in situations where I'm a fish out of water, I too am actually way more introverted. I would rather work in the dark under my desk than do most of what I do. I've taught myself and forced myself to work through that. And so it doesn't bother me now as much, but it's only because you just keep doing it. You have to keep stretching. If you let the fear or the discomfort stall you or stop you, there's no way that you're ever going to be able to be successful because you're in your own way. And here's the truth in the matter. Every single person, you said it, everybody's in sales, right? It's like, look at a 2-year-old. They're the best negotiators on the planet, right? They can pitch, they can, they know how to do this. And then look at a junior high person who wants to do things that high school kids do, right? Our whole lives represent negotiation and sales. And something happens somewhere where we decide that we're inadequate or we're not enough or we don't have the goods. Like, it's these stories that we've told ourselves in the playing not to lose and lose that we have been believing. And the truth in the matter is, if we do more of the things that scare us or make us uncomfortable, eventually we do get numb to that. Our brains actually change their makeup, right? To reflect that. So I think the answer is we just have to do more of it. So, Michaela, I right now you're a tiger face to me, or a lion face to me, but so
and you are a tiger, so you're fierce.
Hi,
that's the whole clue. That's it.
Yeah, but I think, Michaela, it's facing that every day. And here's the thing. If you believe in what you're selling, if you believe that you're the best representative that can provide the best service, then you should have all sorts of confidence talking to, and I say this to us as realtors, to buyers or sellers or consumers on any front. Listen, it's a disservice. I have provided a disservice if I am not promoting myself to people, because here's what's going to happen. Reagan, you said it. Somebody's buying real estate. They didn't buy it for me.
Right.
But they bought it. So why shouldn't they buy it with me? Probably the person they bought it with is less capable, less qualified, less knowledgeable than I am. So why did I allow that? You have to kind of flip this and go in reverse. Why would I allow that consumer to be represented by somebody who's not nearly as efficient or effective as I am? Right? I know I'm good at this. So if you don't know that you're good at it, that's where you got to start. You got to go back and get good at it. You got to know your product. You got to know your service. You got to know the processes. So spend some time. If you're sitting in that bottom quadrant, or even that anywhere on the lose side, I'm going to say spend some time and get yourself a little more secure and a little more confident. But even when you do that and you go out, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Everybody on this phone call, or you can look at every single picture on here. Every one of these grown-up people, we're all uncomfortable in different situations. Once we get going, we can get through it. And sometimes we get in our car and we go, oh my gosh, that was so hard, right? Because there's some people who are difficult like you. It's just, this is what life looks like. And so we have to do hard things, period. Reagan.
Thank you, Kimberly. And to that point, guys, how many of you would say, I feel pretty natural, that y'all's perception of me is that this is easy for me, or that it's natural? Do you know how long it took for me to get
20 years? Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a lifetime for me. This is, but honestly, guys, I remember it was right before the pandemic. Our coach was like, you need to be doing social media. You need to be doing videos. And I literally melted in my desk because I had never done them. And I just literally pit in my stomach, just started doing them. Were they good? Probably not. They're better now, but just like I'm better here now because it's time on task. To Kimberly's point, you just got to do. But here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Don't let that be overwhelming. Do to the level, put your toe in, and then put 2 toes in, and then put the whole foot in. No one's here to tell you there's a right way to do that, guys. All I'm going to tell you is that you are going to feel the uncomfortableness, because this is your comfort zone, right, guys? This is where we all live. This is where we like to live, because we don't like change. Humans do not like change, so we stay right here. But guys, do you remember me saying expanding and contracting? If you're not expanding, you are contracting. So guys, think about this. Think about your biggest goal. Just think about something. Think about your biggest goal. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's whatever, career, health and fitness, right? Think about it. I want you to think about something. Where do you think it might be? Because when I do this exercise, you know where people tell me their goal is outside their comfort zone? Over here, and way over here, and over here. You know where it could be? You know where it really could be? Right here.
Feels the same when you're on inside the circle though, right?
Yes, but all you got to do is put your foot out and bam, it's yours. And then you've just increased your comfort zone. Then you go grab this other one and you increase your comfort zone. Then you go grab this other one. And then, do you see, guys? And then we just gradually go out. And look what I'm doing. I'm getting closer to all of them. Look, I'm even going to grab these. But I did it baby steps. Guys, I got good at doing this because Kimberly and I have done about 780,000 Zoom calls over the last 3 years, right? I mean, it's true, right? So that's what I want to encourage you. Take those baby steps and you can move yourself out of that right-hand column of lose of any kind, moving into the left, but ultimately moving up to the winning. Because guys, that's where we want to be. And everyone on this call can totally be there. Because this is what I know. If one agent is selling real estate at a high level, guess what that means universally? If one person on this planet can do something, that means anyone can do it.
Well, what's the 4-minute mile, right? No one could break that until it was broken. And then like within a month, there were a whole scat of people who did it, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, you look at that and it's like, when you break a barrier, all of a sudden you have the freedom then to break yet another barrier. And only thing that happened different is that the barrier was broken. It wasn't that anybody was necessarily not capable of running the 4-minute mile, right? Or under 4 or whatever his, amazing thing. Like, just think of it that way, right? If somebody else can do it, then you can do it. You have the same kind of stuff. You're all made of the same stuff. We can all do these things. So when we think something's out of our reach, you don't know where it is outside that comfort zone circle. It really could just be right at the edge of that, or it could be a wing nut that you have to get way out there to keep going and growing. But that's part of what we do. The minute you stop growing is the minute this is all over.
And I think, this is such a great model, Reagan, because I think with agents that I've worked with, sometimes they would say, oh, I'm in the win-winning column. I'm comfortable, I'm wonderful. And that's actually not the truth.
No. And that's why this awareness, guys, I want you guys, and I'll get this PDF to Kimberly and we'll get it out to the group. It's a great reminder. Put it up on your board, put it up on your bulletin board, your whiteboard, and look at it every day and ask yourself, where am I? Because Susan, you're right. People think they're in different quadrants because they're playing it safe. I'm going to sit back and coast. Diana Kokoska at KW, for those of you KW people, used to always say this: there's only one way to coast, and it's downhill.
Right.
So think about that. If you're coasting, you're going the wrong way. If you're not expanding, you're contracting. Guys, that's a universal law. If you're not growing, learning, pushing yourself out and getting a little more uncomfortable, you're contracting. And guys, contraction just looks like your world's smaller. Your options are smaller.
It also feels that way.
For sure, right? Because that doesn't feel good. People think, oh, that feels safe. Innately, it doesn't for a lot of us, right? You want to grow. We want to push out. We want to learn. So this is just such great awareness to just look at every day, like with your quadrants. Where are you? I like to do it every day. Did I show up at a level 10? Am I playing to win? Or did I just play not to lose?
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's a definite mindset. One of the things that my husband did a long time ago in his business was change his mindset from hunting small deer to hunting elephants, right? He's not a hunter. It's not like he's shooting things.
Just looking for the whale.
Guys, right? So he's like, listen, I'm tired of catching the little fish. I want to catch a whale. And so I have to change my bait. I have to change my gear. I have to change. So if you kind of just use that metaphor, like to me, I'm like, all right, we hunt elephants at our house, right? We fish for whales at our house. And it's just part of how we have said, listen, if I'm going to do this effort, then I need to do it with everything in me so I catch the biggest win, right? Everything that's planted on our little farm has to have multiple purposes, multiple uses. We're very purposeful about that. We didn't just plant something in the earth just to plant something. We planted a fruit tree that we could eat fresh, we could juice, we could dry, we could freeze. Like it has to be able to have multiple purposes. And my point in that is you start thinking like that, you start looking at your business. Oh, the effort that I'm spending, is it going to yield something? Is it going to yield a minnow or is it going to yield a whale? Right? If I'm going to do the same amount of work to get the minnow, why wouldn't I do that to get the whale? It's just you're using different tools, right? But largely it's mindset, and it's having an awareness that something good could come your way instead of nothing good comes my way, because we're going to believe what we say to ourselves. Our brain is just that smart. So Reagan, thank you for this good
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. And as y'all can tell, I'm passionate. I love this stuff. So I enjoy these conversations. So I hope you found it helpful and useful today.
Super good. Super good.
Thanks, Reagan.
Guys, thank you.
Of course.
Have a super happy Monday. We'll see you next week, you guys. Bye.